Today we're going to cover Chapter 9. It's titled The Different Stages of Money, Accumulation versus Distribution. And this is an introduction to Chapters 10 and 11 that we'll discuss in new sections for you. But this really covers the basics of understanding the difference between accumulation and distribution and the fact that there are differences in accumulating assets. As you read through this chapter, there's a graphic that's the most important section on page 2. And this graphic is going to talk about stage 1 asset accumulation, and that's when you're working. Stage 1 is when you're working and you're saving money, you're accumulating assets. And it's a key point throughout this book. We're going to cover asset accumulation, and that requires specific strategies, assets, and planning. You have to be willing to accept volatility, willing to go through losses, small and large losses. You're not taking any income out currently, and you're planning not to take income out until some distant point in the future. So you'll invest your assets and manage your assets a specific way to attain the goal of maximizing your assets during this accumulation mode. But then when you retire, you have to transition immediately out of asset accumulation mode. You're no longer accumulating assets, even though you might think you are, even though your broker or your financial advisor will try to talk you into that thought that you are in asset accumulation mode. You're not. Once you retire, and actually 5 to 10 years before you retire, you need to transition over into what we call stage 2, income distribution mode. This is when you're retired or when you're pre-retired, getting ready to retire. And it requires completely different strategies, assets, and planning than stage 1. So stage 2 is income distribution. You cannot have any volatility. You cannot suffer any losses. You have to establish a consistent level of income that's guaranteed for as long as you live, and the assets must be positioned to provide you income immediately now. Whether you want that income or not, your assets must be positioned to provide you income now, just in case you want that income. So it's important to understand asset accumulation, stage 1, and income distribution, stage 2, are completely separate. In fact, they're 180 degrees away from each other, and you have to modify and transition your current assets out of asset accumulation and into retirement income distribution. Extremely important to understand that.